What is up, wrestling fans? KayFabe Chronicles with your host, JP. I know it's been a while. I know I haven't been putting out content as much as I used to. Just a lot's been going on, life, personal stuff. But I am looking to start getting more content out to you guys a lot more often. So I figured I'm a little late to the party on this, but I figured I would express my views on the finals of the Mae Young Classic and also go over my overall thoughts of the entire thing as a whole. I've done reviews already in regards to round one and the succession rounds after that. So yeah. So as always, let's get that ball rolling. So overall, the way I'm going to express my thoughts of the finals is exactly how I expressed my thoughts with the other rounds. I'm going to give like the pluses and the negatives. So with the negatives, I really only had one major beef going into it. My biggest thing, I know that everyone kind of agrees on this, is that it was only a half an hour show, so it was just the one match. And the match itself was only about 15 minutes or so, and the rest of it was just kind of the build up. I don't know, it felt a little kind of empty for me. I was hoping they would do kind of what they did with the CWC and have a lot of other matches, like some undercard matches. Granted, they did have the 6-woman tag the previous night, which was kind of cool. And also, granted, because of the hurricane, a lot of the women wrestlers are in Florida at the Performance Center, so a lot of them weren't able to make it out. To Las Vegas, so that could be another contributing factor. But I just felt it could have been a lot more than just the one match itself. But other than that, it was cool to see some of the interviews. It was cool to see Mercedes Martinez, Candice LeRae, Toni Storm, and Piper in the audience. That was really cool. They were four of my more favorite ladies in this tournament. But yeah, we're gonna get right onto the match itself. Just exactly as you expected. It was built really, really strong. Kyrie, the smaller underdog, going up against the big badass Shayna Baszler. The thing with Shayna, not a lot of people thought that Shayna would even really make it that far. Going into the tournament, I recognized the name. I was like, oh, okay, she's an MMA fighter. Okay, and I didn't really figure she would go that far. But then once I started seeing the whole Ronda Rousey, 4 Horsewoman, storyline that they're really trying to push, I figured more that she would make it as far as she did. Now, I know that I kind of beefed on her in her earlier rounds. I considered her really sloppy, blah, blah, blah. This finals, phenomenal. She took a complete 180, in my opinion. Probably a most improved competitor of the entire tournament. The entire match, I believed everything she was doing. She really cemented herself as a legitimate badass against Kyrie. Just doing all of, the MMA stuff, just trying everything she can to beat Kyrie. The fifth thing I really liked is during the match, she injured her ribs, and she was really selling the ribs, which was great. You could see the legitimate look of pain in her eyes, which is something that not a lot of wrestlers can do. Maybe she really hurt her ribs. Who the hell knows? But if she didn't, I fully bought it. I fully believed it. But yeah, definitely Shayna really took off, in my opinion, in that match. Kyrie was great as always. She did what she had to do. I just love that just somebody of her size is able to just do high impact moves. Like I said, she's 5'1", 100 pounds, if that, and she does a spear. She does full body strikes. She does stuff that traditionally larger competitors would do to get their opponents down, and it was just so good. A lot of key points for the match that I really enjoyed. I liked when Kyrie went up for the elbow. Leapt down and Shayna caught her and automatically got her into her submission hold. And the thing that I really liked that they kind of did is the entire tournament, Shayna would lock that in and just people would tap out instantly. They did a really good job showing that this is a devastating move. Nobody can possibly survive this. As soon as Shayna locks it on, you're done. And Kyrie was able to break out of it. Kyrie was able to be that one person to finally do it. She didn't tap right off the bat, which I thought was, people, they killed Shayna's move. I don't think it did kill her move, because she didn't really fully have it locked on, and there's really good storytelling there. And then this Kyrie just constantly just try to get the elbow drop going, and just Shayna just would not let it happen. Fast forward to the end of the match, Kyrie finally got Shayna in the corner, knocked her down, jumped up, hit the elbow drop, and got the 3 count. Good for her, great match. Right after the match was done, she kind of helped Shayna up, and then Shayna Shayna and Kairi actually hugged in the center of the ring, which was like a huge showmanship of like a huge show of sportsmanship. Because the entire tournament, Shayna hasn't done that. Shayna's denied the handshake to everybody. Shayna does not. At the end of the match, when the women always talk, she always just kind of left the ring. She's kind of like her own lone wolf. So it was really cool to see that angle. Now with the match itself, like going into the tournament, everyone kind of figured that Kairi was going to be the winner, or at least Kairi would make it to the finals, because she's like the one woman that everyone was really kind of looking forward to seeing. Like if you guys have seen her prior to her WWE days, she's worth every penny that they promoted her as. But then kind of near the end, when they started really pushing that four horsewoman thing, I started thinking like, well, maybe she's not going to win. Maybe they're really going to use this as the platform to like beef up that next storyline. Now, as the more I thought about it, I figured that wouldn't be actually a really good plan, because you're like, why would you have this giant tournament just to have one storyline kind of thing? And I figured it would have ruffled a lot of people's feathers if like an MMA fighter won a wrestling tournament, considering that she's only been doing wrestling for about 2 years now, compared to some of these women who've been doing it for over a decade kind of thing, and just to have this newcomer come in and win. Granted, I think they did what they had to do, though. They showed her as a legitimate badass, and that she is something to be feared, and that the four horsewomen is something to be feared. So I know this. I know it's going to happen. I know the four of them are going to fight each other, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be just money-making, T-shirt printing, merchandise selling goodness. But overall, great match itself. It was neat to see just all the different women in this tournament, and I'm glad that Kairi walked away with the victory. I believe that was the correct path to take between the two options. Nothing to take away from Shayna, though. She did very well in that last match. So what did I think about the entire tournament? There was a lot of good stuff. If you guys watched my previous videos, like I'm really excited. Like a huge plus for me is that I was able to be introduced to a lot of these women wrestlers who I've really never seen wrestle before. I now have a huge fan base for a lot of these women. The people that really like made me go like, holy crap! Like my favorites of this tournament that I said earlier, Toni Storm. Absolutely, she's just like such a good wrestler. She's only 21 years old, and she's already wrestling like she's been doing it for 20 plus years. And like just think about like in another 10 years she's gonna be 31, still in her prime. Like, just phenomenal. Like she put on some of the best matches. Her character work was great. I just love the way that she carries herself in the ring. Piper Niven, loved everything about her. Like the thing that like normally big woman equals big scary woman. No, she's something else. Like she moves so agile, great enthusiasm, great charisma. Like I've been following her on Twitter. She's absolutely hilarious. Like she just seems like a person I would just want to just hang out with all day, and then just chill with her. She just seems just so down to earth, and I'm looking forward to seeing what other stuff that she does. Rhea Ripley, another young girl, 20 years old. Absolutely amazing. She's got such a huge future ahead of her. Needs to work on her mic skills just a tiny bit. And since some of her moves are a little tweaking, but since she's only 20 years old, and she just looks great. She has the look of a wrestler. She moves very well in the ring, and she's going nothing but up. Dakota Kai, like I said in my previous video, she's my bae there. I hate that word bae. Why did I just say that? Ugh. But yeah, no, she's a younger person, but she's a vet. Like she's been doing this for quite some time now. She has been signed to WWE. I have a feeling that they're really going to push her as kind of the next Bayley. Like she's one of those people where you just look at it and you automatically, like the young fans are automatically going to be drawn to her. So that's a good thing, because Bayley moved up to the main roster where they've butchered her career. So now they need a replacement. So I think Dakota Kai is going to be that replacement. Bianca Belair, definitely a huge head turner there. Like I said, she's only actually been wrestling for 1 year. 1 year, that's it. Like I said, she's a former CrossFit, former track person that just kind of decided to start wrestling, and she's really been turning a lot of heads in the Performance Center. She's on NXT now. I just really enjoyed it. But I said, like, 1 year, and she's doing a 450 splash? I love her character. Like, I love her just sass walk, how she just kind of just comes in like, oh, no, you didn't. Oh, no, you didn't. Great character work. I'm looking forward to seeing where she is where she is within the year. I could go on and on and on about all the people that I really enjoyed in this tournament. But yeah, like so many of them are already with WWE, like Sarah Logan, Vanessa Bourne, Sage Beckett, all the people that I kind of mentioned, like Bianca Belair, Dakota Kai, Kairi Sane, like all these people are kind of already signed with WWE NXT, which is great. But what WWE needs to really do is kind of jump on those ones who aren't signed yet, like Piper Niven, Kaylee Ray, Toni Storm, Jazzy Gabbert. Like, granted, they probably all have contract agreements already with their other leagues that they're wrestling in. So once those are up, I guarantee WWE is going to definitely snatch those up. But like where women's wrestling is right now is where it kind of needs to be. I know that we kind of drifted apart. The women's revolution was like, yeah, and then it kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. I think the biggest problem with that is when they decided to split Raw and SmackDown onto two different shows. They really stretched the roster out and kind of took the eyes off. So what I think that they need to do, I've said it a billion times, is combine the two into one show. Put Raw, SmackDown together, one championship, one fan group kind of looking at it, and still have like the NXT and the Performance Center kind of going there so they can kind of branch out. I think that once you get like a more focused set of eyes on the women's division, it should be exactly where it needs to be again. But yeah, like this tournament definitely did put the eyes back on the division itself. WWE has done phenomenal with the tournaments, but then they've kind of fell off after. So like the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the second one, not the first one, the second one. The second one was great because it was actually won by a real tag team. The first one was not. Cruiserweight Classic, great tournament. And then when it came time to do the Cruiserweight division, they really dropped the ball on that. So I'm really hoping that they don't do that with the women's division. I hope that they just keep going where they have to be with it. But yeah, awesome. All 32 women. If we could sign all of them, I would. It was great. I loved every second of it. So that's what I think about the Mae Young Classic. What did you guys think? Let me know in that comment section below. As always, crush that like button and subscribe for more great videos. Turn on that little bell too for some notifications. I'm going to be pumping these videos out a little bit more frequently. As always, follow us on Twitter using the 2 name tags below, and check out the Facebook page, also listed below. I sometimes got some stuff on there that you're not going to see on this channel. Mainly pictures and stuff, but yeah. But as always, this is JP from KayFabe Chronicles, and I'll see you guys next time.